Welcome to the Trail Blood Podcast. I am your host, Christian Creasy.
I'm Lionel Chapman.
Ira Childs.
And today's new episode, Supernatural Horror Part 1. So we are going to discuss two prominent films in the 70s, The Exorcist and The Omen. Two great films. Supernatural horror, gentlemen.
Supernatural.
One of the scariest genre for me.
Yes.
Like, I can watch the slasher genre. I can watch Jason. I can watch Michael Myers. I can watch Freddy at midnight, any time of the night. Won't get scared. Won't have sleep like a baby with beautiful dreams. But when it comes to this stuff, I have to watch it during the day.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. You know what these two films have in common?
What's that?
The devil.
Curse. Curses.
Yeah.
Cursed films?
Yes.
And from speaking of experience, one day we can get into my experience because I have two encounters, well, at least three, with not so pleasant spirits.
Oh, man.
That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that later,
Yeah,
but
we definitely got to talk about that a little later.
yeah, not today, but you know. But let's jump into it. Let's talk about The Exorcist because that's one of my favorite supernatural films. Question is, what about this film that is very prominent that still has an impact back then and today?
The head turning. The film where she pisses in the living room in front of the guest.
Yeah.
I think it is second behind John Carpenter's theme. The theme of this movie, the music, is one of the most iconic musics ever.
Yeah.
I believe people from the 70s or that era, if they hear that music, they're going to stop in their tracks because it just scared the shit out of them like that in the movie theaters. My mom had a story of people throwing up and screaming, yelling, and falling out in the movie theaters, and I've heard that multiple times.
Wow. Because I know about the music. I ain't know about that. Because when that music comes, I think that's how it goes. Yeah. I think also it's the sacrilegious stuff they do.
Absolutely.
When she took that crucifix and she was like, fuck me. Fuck me. She grabbed the priest. No, the psychiatrist's balls and was like,
yeah. And all of this coming from a young lady.
A young lady.
Let's not forget that.
Linda, played by Linda Blair.
Yes. Whose life got turned upside down after doing this film.
Yeah.
She had to be homeschooled.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Because everyone in her high school was scared of her.
I bet she wasn't bullied no more.
Not at all.
Yeah, I bet she wasn't bullied.
I like that opening scene when the priest arrives at the destination.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was inspired by three, I think it was three different oil paintings, and the title of this one was called Empire of Light.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think what definitely made this film so prominent and such an impact that I did my research, I can just read it here. The Exorcist became a long-term cultural touchstone for discussion of the tensions between science and religion, the representation and treatment of mental health, and the position of religion in the contemporary North America. Science and religions pervade in 1973 on this horror film. Mm-hmm. And the films exist, as a movie's tagline suggested, somewhere between science and superstition, quoted director William Friedkin.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I pronounce your name. And he's from Chicago. Chicago's own.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah. You know, the film was actually inspired by the novel.
Yeah.
The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Came out, you know. So. Yeah.
And it was based on a true story. But that what I just read is something can be discussed about. Still to this day, if you can relate between science and religion, between medical medicine and supernatural. Like, is this person really possessed, or is this person just have a mental problem?
Right.
That's,
We should. What do you guys think?
I think every time,
Now, be honest. Now,
I think when something can't be explained, they claim it's a medical condition. You know,
right?
I think it's more to it. For example, one night, I think it's sleep paralysis. You know, I fell asleep. You know, and I felt this walking. I could feel it walking around the room. You know, I couldn't wake up. So as soon as I said my prayers, it stopped. Nothing medical about that. You know, so you know.
In the film, they go through these medical procedures for Reagan, and they just can't figure it out. So they constantly order different procedures to happen, and they just can't figure it out until it gets to the point where mom says, well, let me try a priest. And the priest comes in, and he's like, oh, yeah, you know, she might be possessed, you know. So that was my point.
Yeah, I think it is a big this topic to discuss, and it plays and it plays today because being like a man of faith myself, I think some things is medical and some things is spiritual. And I think what my issue is that sometimes scientists think they're gods.
Yes.
And that's because you're not. And just because you're a scientist, you don't know every fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because still to this day, scientists cannot still discover where the hell dreams come from. But we all know in the Christian faith, we know dreams comes from the spirit world. It comes from God. So it's like, well, your medical test still can't figure out what, where dreams come from. And you still have, I bet, because they discussed that in Friday the 13th. Not Fridays, forgive me. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Because they played on that. But it is a good discussion because you see that in the film that all these tests kept coming back negative. And these doctors kept want to try to make excuse until that scene was like, well, how they trying to say this exorcist, they keep doing this and try to make the way they tone about it's like it's bull crap. But yet why your test is coming out bull crap.
Yeah, that's
If you don't know what's wrong with her.
Yeah.
I mean, and comment too, guys, about what do you guys think? Do you think everything is all medical and some things? Because there's things that science cannot be explained. Like one time I was at the church with my girlfriend at the time, and we was talking with this woman who had a testimony, and she said she was at stage 4 cancer. This is the second time. And the second time, she went back for a test, and all the cancer was gone. And she was like, I have to go with in front of the board to testify because they still can't figure out. All of a sudden, you at stage 4 cancer, and it's highly advanced, and all of a sudden, it's gone.
Yeah. That just to show you that we as humans, we don't know everything.
Yeah, and I was like, that's the power of God. That's a miracle.
Yeah.
It's like, well, anytime, and sometimes y'all just gotta fucking admit, it's just like, it is. And I love how this film like plays that too, because when I did further research on this, let's see, they talked about it too, is that it created a media frenzy in 1973 and increased reports in popular press of demon possessions, audience members convulsing, like you were saying, that your mom was saying, vomiting on the screens, apparent religious and specific Catholic moral outrage started. However, the Catholic Church, which I still have an issue with, it's like, why are you putting it on the Catholic Church? And the problem I have with that is that it's not just the Catholic, it's the church, period. Just put the church, because that's why I don't like denominations. But, you know, it started this battle between science and religion. So, which that's why I think that's why it made the film also prominent too, because during that time too, in the 70s, with these two films, people would start doing crazy shit in the 70s. It was the UFOs, and it was the all kinds of crazy shit happened in the 70s. The Vietnam War, then you have the Manson murders, then you had Ted Bundy, then you have was all this crazy. Then all of a sudden everybody started getting interested in the devil.
What's the guy from New York? The guy that was killing the blonde heads, and he damn, I forgot the name of the killer, but Summer of Sam.
Yep. That was
David Berkowitz.
yeah.
Yeah, he said spirit something was.
Yeah,
telling
he
him-
was in a
he was-
yep.
Something was telling him to commit these crimes.
Yeah, and Ted Bundy said the same thing. He even said that it was some dark thing kept telling him to force him to that overtook him to murder. And coming from my background or our background, I can believe that,
Yeah.
because if you look from a spiritual perspective, based on trauma in our life of things, especially like not letting go of stuff, having anger, causes stress, then you get sickness such as cancer. That's a manifestation of you continue to hold crap in, not letting it go. Or as Jesus said on the Mount of Olives when he gave his sermon about hate is murder. Because what he was really talking about, the issue of the heart, you have so much hate first before you even, the murder actually is a manifestation of the hate. Once you made it up in your heart, in your mind that you're going to kill this person, you already committed the murder. It's just a manifestation, just like adultery. You already made up your mind, I'm going to sleep with this woman who's not my wife, or this man who's not my husband. Already. You already, and the physical act is just a manifestation of it, just like what we see in The Exorcist.
It's true.
Playing with Ouija boards,
Yeah.
Which starts this issue for this young lady.
want to speak to the dead,
You're gonna get a reaction.
Yeah.
You know.
then here's the manifestation of it. And, and we see, this back and forth. So I think that's what made this film so prominent, and it's a good discussion too.
Yeah.
For those who science, and we not knocking down science. I always see it's important. I always say science is God's way of showing how His beautiful creation is work.
Yeah. I totally agree.
But the issue I always have is like, not if you're gonna continue relying on science and logic all the time, you're gonna fail. Just admit that sometimes science can't solve everything.
True.
True. True. I got some interesting points. Did you know that the director of this film, I heard that one time he fired some guns behind the actresses to just shake them up, and he also smacked the priest to get a shocking reaction.
Damn, William,
For real.
you doing everything.
Well, they did a ton of things to the actors in this film. One being having them in super icy cold room.
Yeah, they had to put ACs in there.
Yes. I think Linda Blair was under like 5 or 6 different blankets, and all of the breath that you see is not CGI. That is real.
Yeah,
Very
that
real.
is real breath.
The things you got to do to make,
And the bed shaking, they had the crew back there. They put the legs through the walls and through the bed and shook them in the back too.
You know what? I think a lot of things that happen in this film is what makes it very memorable.
Yeah.
You have the head spinning, you have the levitation, you have the projectile vomiting.
Yep.
all the profanity, the blasphemy, all of that good stuff that really makes this film kind of stick out more.
It does. And the cicadas singing in the background. now the audience is like, oh, they recording at night. They shooting at night. It's nighttime.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I think so. I think that's all that what made the film so and it was, you could just say it was like balls to walls, man. They went for it.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And that's something for you young upcoming artists, actors, writers, producers. Go for it. Go balls out.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Practical always works.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you know Father Dyer was really was played by an actual priest?
No.
Yes. William, I don't want to mess your name up. I think it's pronounced William O'Malley.
William O'Malley.
I think that's the
Okay.
yeah.
All
That's
right.
who played the priest, Father Dyer.
Nice.
Yes. Mercedes McCambridge, she voiced the demon. She did everything to get into that character. I heard she tied herself to a chair, her legs, arms.
Mm-hmm.
Ate some raw eggs, smoked a lot of cigarettes,
To get that voice.
and drank some dark liquor. To get into that character.
Method acting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The method acting that will screw up your health. Like,
But the end result
yeah.
is very memorable.
Yeah. Didn't she sue Warner Brothers because they didn't pay her?
Yeah, I heard that she sued them because she didn't get her credit.
See? Doing all that work.
Bad business, Warner Brothers.
Come on, Warner Brothers.
Pay.
You my favorite film company.
You
Come
gotta
on.
pay. Yes.
Pay your artists, all right? Yeah.
Exactly, pay them.
But yeah, that was if you haven't seen The Exorcist, go check it out. Don't be scared. Okay, don't be scared, get some popcorn and eat. It's a good film. Even though like Linda Blair and the director didn't consider it a horror film, but okay. Not to knock y'all down, but I disagree.
Yeah.
It's not just a love story, I guess, but it is a horror film.
Okay, fellas.
Linda Blair, it's a horror film.
We're going to get into this second film, which was made in 1976.
The
Omen.
The Omen. That was crazy.
Let me start with the opening sequence of this film. The title, the credits. You have this silhouette of this young boy, he's all black, and behind him you have this red light that slowly dims in and out. From there, if you look to the bottom or his shadow, it is an upside down cross, which means unchristian or unholy. Mm-hmm. And right off the bat, they're telling you something is wrong with this little boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't forget the creepy Uber music by Jerry Goldsmith going along with this title sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie, man, you talking about demon child.
Yes.
The spawn of Satan. Oh, man, I'm glad the kids I used to watch and it wasn't named Damien because I would have told them, like, I ain't that any old kid named Damien. Man. If I do, I'm coming over there crossing holy water the whole shebang.
Yes, yes.
Wow. Directed by the one and only, late, rest in peace, Richard Donner.
Yes. Rest in peace.
That movie was also a big impact in the 70s because it came right off the bat of The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
It was hot off the heels, man. It's like, milk that cow while it's good, too. Mm-hmm. Because the story of the Antichrist always, just like in the Bible, always interests me. It's like, man, because, you would think like, man, when you be thinking like, when is going to happen?
Right, right.
When is all
this
this gonna
particular
happen?
person, like,
Right.
Yeah.
how does the Antichrist gonna look and how they gonna, trying to introduce themselves to the world? Because according to the Bible, the Antichrist is going to come and going to appear himself, which is scary.
Very,
Which is very scary.
very.
And it's going to have, as the Bible describes it, both popularity, power, and also political power.
Politician.
So again, one of the themes that we're talking about here is religion, politics.
Yeah.
But instead of medical, it's politics in this particular film.
Yeah.
So religion is a hot topic right today.
Yeah. Which is why our country has this law separate church and state, church and politics. But those are the two topics that always causes fights, and always causes arguments, because you got believers versus non-believers. You got people on the left versus people on the right. Then you got the other people, independent, like myself,
Kind of in the middle.
in the middle, right? In the middle, it's a good discussion. Because what do you guys think about politics and religion? You think that's something that should be mixed together, or should be?
Not at all. That's something that I just don't get into.
Yeah, it always starts some type of riff.
Yeah, people will get into fights and arguments
Right.
over those two things.
Because to be honest, it's like, well, especially when it comes to politics, it's like, that's a boring ass subject to begin with anyway. Why are we fighting on something that's boring as hell?
I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat.
Because it's like, it's boring as hell. And this job is stressful. Fucking politics is boring. To be honest, I think people who go into politics because it's power.
Yeah.
Only power. It's like, to me, I just sometimes think if you freaking a politician, you just trying to be power hungry.
You know what? The original title to this film was going to be called The Birthmark. But they decided not to go that route.
Doesn't have the same ring to me.
Right.
But
what I do love about this film is the iconic scene. It's all for you, Damien. Damien! All for you.
Damien played by Harvey Stephens.
Yes. Shout out to Harvey Stephens.
Yes.
You guys know how Harvey got the role?
How did he get the role?
Richard. So Richard had all the boys, the actors. He wanted them to play the part, like in the film, when the family arrives outside the church to go to the wedding. So he had these boys. Okay, let's reenact this scene, and I want you guys to come at me and attack me. So the young guy, Harvey, he hits Richard in the groin.
Oh, Jesus.
Claws at him, and just from that, Richard liked what he saw. And, I think they changed his hair color as well. I think his hair was blonde or something like that.
Okay.
But in the film, it was red.
Yeah.
You know what? He probably really, with that to add to it, did any of the boys did that? Probably not.
Probably not.
Because, see, coming from an actor perspective, being an actor myself, they always train to go for it. That's why I say earlier, artists, everybody, just go for it. Just go all out. And he was probably looking for somebody who's not scared to do that, especially to him. Like,
for this character.
Yeah, for this character and for those who wants to be actors.
Yeah.
You're going to hear this from your teachers, too. You can't be scared to make a fool of yourself.
And he was actually
you gotta make a fool of yourself, and you can't give a crap.
You gotta take chances.
Yep.
And he was actually a child, a kid. So, to give him direction, Richard had to taunt him right before the camera to get a reaction for certain scenes.
That's good. That's
great
that's good coaching.
Yes.
And good directing too.
Yes, it is.
Because if you think about it, in the film, he didn't have much dialogue.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Everything was off action, movement.
Yeah.
So,
and it didn't me having experience working with children. They already open up and vulnerable because they children. It doesn't take much either to
No.
get them to
To that
react.
point.
Just say something to them. Just say whatever. Like your parents is actually like you not they you adopted. And you'll get the reaction.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you the truth. I talked to your dad. You adopted.
So I want to ask you guys a question. Who was your creepiest character in this film?
Other than Damien,
Yes, other than
Other than
Damien.
Damien,
it would have to be that dumb maid that came in with that rock wall.
same here. Same here.
I agree.
That bitch. I'm sorry. I would have told her, get the fuck out of my house.
Exactly. You're not gonna tell me, well, Damien's quite fond of the dog. No, I said get the damn dog out of my house.
Right.
You know
That's what we're gonna do.
You know what got me when she told the maid? She was like, "Damon needs to be prepared. Needs to be dressed for this wedding."
Right.
And she's like, "Ain't he a little too young? He pretty much don't know what's going on. So why would he have to go?"
Again, she's talking back to her boss.
Right.
fired.
Right.
It's like, nah.
You gotta have a lot of
Right.
Kahunas.
yes.
To say that. And it's like, no. I was like, no, you ain't no agency didn't send you. Because they would have informed, first of all, they would have informed you. First of all, they would inform me or her that we sending a new person there.
Yeah.
And you would have got background information on this person. Because y'all into freaking politics and you are a prominent family, you should know better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Real quick, what do you guys think about the decision by the father to take Damien on after the original baby died?
That was the worst decision of his life. I bet. I think. Oh, sorry. You was one.
No, sir. Go ahead.
No, I think his that grievance got the best of him. That's why. And I think that was a wrong decision because you should have. See, that's the issue too, and that's good that they did that. Anytime, and just like in today, anytime trauma happens, logic is this is when you need to have some logic. That's why So when emotions is very high, logic is very low. So you would just act on based on what you're feeling that time. You're feeling grief, you're feeling anger or horn, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that was wrong because they acted out of emotion instead of just taking a deep breath. Because it's like you got to get over this first, and you just you jump right into a new relationship. It's like your ex just left you, y'all broke up, and you just automatically jump in. Like, dang, Damien, and he played on it. The devil, played on that. So I think it was a bad decision.
He ended up suffering in the end.
Yeah.
Just holding that guilt in to himself, not telling his wife, that this is an adopted child.
So, and today that movie still has an impact and it was successful.
Very.
I read that what Gregory Peck, what made him really get the role was in real life his son committed suicide.
Wow.
So to play a father who's grieving and feeling guilty, I heard that he wasn't around at the time when his son had killed himself.
Yeah.
So that played a major part of him taking on the role.
Okay. Yeah. But, well, and these two films had a big impact, and you guys should check them out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
Yes.
That'll do.
One more thing. Say your prayers
That's right.
before you go to bed.
That's right.
Before you go out.
Go see the films, and you can follow us on our Instagram, which is trio_3_horror, and our TikTok, which is trio_of OF_horror, and YouTube. Just type in Trio Horror. So that concludes today's episode. We
Thank
see
you
you
for
next
joining
time.
us.
Yes.